Hey guys, it's Yvette, and I'm here for the final week of the Fort Worth Fabric Studios All Together Spooky Mystery Quilt. So hopefully you have been quilting along with me, sewing week by week, and this week, by the time we're done with this video, we will have our quilt top, and I am so excited about that. Hopefully you guys have heard about the giveaway that I have going on right now with Quilting by David. Quilting by David is giving one lucky altogether spooky quilting person free quilting for their quilt. And that I am just so excited. I can't wait. I wish I could give all of you guys a free Quilting by David because he just does such a phenomenal job. And I will go ahead and link up above the quilt that he quilted for me, and it's absolutely wonderful. So there will be one lucky person. I will be choosing that person today, and everyone will find out. Now all you have to do to enter in the giveaway is you need to be making an altogether spooky mini quilt. And it doesn't matter if you used the kit fabrics or if you have purchased your own fabrics, used your stash, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as you are making this quilt, you can enter to win. And all you are responsible for is the shipping to David and then the shipping back to you. Other than that, he is going to quilt your quilt. You will provide everything that is needed according to his website, which is mainly just your quilt top. He is going to provide the batting, by the way. It's going to be an 80-20 blend, and you just need to send your backing as well, and there are instructions about your backing. I think your backing has to be like 4 inches wider than your quilt top all the way around. So we will get into all of that when we pick a winner. So without further ado, let's get started on finishing our quilt because I'm so excited. Okay, so I have my instructions, and it says all seams are 1/4 inch unless otherwise noted. Right sides together is RST. Okay. Assembly. Use pumpkin blocks and candy corn blocks. For sashing, use 4 of the F rectangles, 4 of the K rectangles, and 4 L rectangles. Okay. Make 2 side borders. Make 1 top border, make 1 bottom border. Press all the seams toward the sashing. Okay, so basically they're wanting us just to follow their diagram. So let's, let me see, figure 1. Where is it talking about figure 1? Oh, here it is. Figure 1, make a top border. Oh, okay. All right, so it looks like we are taking one of these guys, and we're going to, let me take these off. Okay, we're going to take an L, and we're going to put it there, and then we're going to take an F and put it here. Oh, I see. Those are the sides. Sorry, I'm like thinking out loud. And then I want to take one of these. Let me move these a little bit closer to me. I'm reaching all in your face. Okay, and then a K. We'll have those there. Now I think I'm going to turn this one this way, so that it'll be sort of, let's see. Hi, Jelly Bean. Okay, so that's going to be for the figure 1. I'm I'm making sure I'm doing it like they have it. Okay, so this will be, is this a side? Okay, this can be a side right here. So if we're doing that as a side, that means it's going to be, okay, I want to make sure I'm positioning everything exactly the way it's going to look so that you can see. So I'm going to move these over. These are the order we're putting them in. And this is going to be, I'm going to make this the left side, okay? So since I'm making it the left side, I'm going to move it like this, okay? So it's going to be that one, that one, that one, making sure I have them going the right way. Yes, I do. This one, and then I'm going to turn this one back this way, that way it's directional. Okay, so we're going to sew these together. What's the matter, sweetheart? Jelly bean. All right, so for the next one, I'm going to put this fabric, and then I'm going to have this fabric here, and then a bat, and then one of these, and then this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark my seams so that I can take it over to the sewing machine and attach those, and I'll have my two sides, and then I can set those aside, and then we'll start on the top and the bottom. I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and bring you with me. So here we go. Okay, so here I am. This stack right here is the stack for the left side. Bloop. And then I have my right hand side over here for when I'm done with this one. So let's get this going. Okay, so I have my two sides sewn together and ready to press. So let's head on over to the pressing iron. Let's head on over to the, let's just go to the ironing board. Okay, so I have my two side borders and I'm ready to press them. Of course, I'm going to press them open. You can press them toward the darker fabrics if that's what you would prefer to do. But I'm going to be showing you how I press the seams open. Okay, let me scooch this one over. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just press the seam that I just sewed, and we do that just so that we can close up all those little holes that we punched in our fabric. It just helps your seam to tighten up and, you know, be more stronger. That's what it is. You want your seam to be stronger. So this tightens the fabric around the thread. Okay. And using my pressing stick, I will put the center of the seam right over the middle of the stick. And I'll just use my fingernail to sort of separate them, and I just sort of finger press a little bit at the beginning. And then once I have my iron on there, it'll pretty much separate it for you if you just sort of do a little wiggle down the middle. Okay, so if you are sewing along and looking at the instructions, you will see that this would not be an Yvette quilt if there was not a mistake somewhere. Like there has to be a mistake somewhere. So apparently I was supposed to put the hats and the witches on the opposite side. Like one was supposed to have the witches on the top and the other one was supposed to have the hats on the top. And of course I didn't do that. So mine are identical. So I think what I might do, and this is what I usually do, like if I make a mistake, I just sort of think through, okay, so do I want to, because obviously it's going to go across the top and the bottom, and I want to try to figure out in my head, do I want to do it wrong on the top and the bottom as well to see how it's going to look. So what I'm going to do is let me head on over to the cutting mat, and we are going to, I'm going to do some layouts and we'll see how it's going to come out, and I'm going to decide what I want to do. So let's head over there right now. Okay, so let's start laying out the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to have a pumpkin, and then I'm trying to remember, okay, I should have like left the thingies close to there. Okay, L is the witches. Okay, so then we'll put a witch, and then we will have this guy, and then F, I remember that's the bats. Okay, we're gonna have to kind of overlap them a little bit. So let's do like this. I'm gonna try to make them all fit. And then we want this guy. Just one, dude, just one. Okay. I'm gonna put those there, put the little bats in the middle, and then we'll have another pumpkin. And then the witch's hats. Okay. All right, so that's how it's supposed to go. And then we're supposed to have on the bottom a pumpkin, and then this guy. But then it's supposed to be, oops, sorry guys, the hats, and then this other guy with the bats, and then a pumpkin with the witches. Now if we do it that way, right, and we put, you guys are going to start not seeing things. Okay, so if I put that one up there, and that's going to be actually to that side, and then this one here, and of course this one's going to be to that side. Let's see. I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to really matter. Here's what I'm thinking. The witches and the hats, the background is so dark that I think your eye sort of just sees them both as almost the same thing. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't think it's going to really matter. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I am going to, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the top and the bottom the way they're supposed to be connected. And then I think what I might do is when I lay it all out with the sides to the either side of the big middle square that we have, I'm going to see what it looks like to put them this way, and then what does it look like to turn this completely over and put it that way. No, can't do that. Nope, that doesn't look right at all. It has to go this way. Okay, you know what, guys? I'll be honest with you. I am so happy with how everything is coming together, because if you have watched, this is what, the fourth mystery quilt that I am doing with Fort Worth Fabric Studio. If you go back to the very first one I did, which was last year's Halloween mystery quilt, I messed that one up so badly, and I have always been so bad at piecing that honestly, the way that things are coming together now, because I just kept going. I knew that I was making lots of mistakes and I was not good. I just wasn't a good piecer. And, you know, the thing is, some people are good at XYZ and some people are good at ABC. Right? And so the thing is, don't give up and try to learn from your mistakes. Notice the things that you're doing wrong. Take things a little bit slower. That's what I have been doing. So I'm actually so happy with how it's coming out, that mistake that I made with the top, that does not bother me at all. So let me just, I'm going to start with the top and the bottom. Move these out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to start marking my pieces. I'll do the bottom first since that one's already up there. I'll just do these first. Now they don't really specify which direction to put these guys in. The ones that are directional and they're going sideways. So let me see. I'm thinking the ones up top, I'm going to keep those facing that way, or like, you know, it's heads up that way. And I think, I mean, just to have fun with it, I'm going to turn these the other way. Because I don't know. I just feel like doing that, and they don't really specify, and I don't really think it matters. Whatever way you like it best is fine, because it's your quilt. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me mark these seams. And as I've said 100 times, if you don't want to mark your seams, you absolutely do not have to. You can do whatever you'd like. I do this because, well, I'm sort of, you know, anal retentive, and it makes me feel better to know that I have marked my seam. So I do. Okay, and I'm just going to stack them on top of each other once I get it marked. And I know that there are a lot of people who don't like to use the friction pins because there are, you know, people say that heat takes away the friction pin and that if it gets cold, the lines will come back. Okay, all I'm going to say is this, and it doesn't mean that what everyone else is saying is not true. Doesn't mean that at all. But I have never had that happen. I have never had friction pin marks come back. And I live in Connecticut, so it gets cold here. But my other thing is, I only use the friction pin when I am marking my seams. And you're going to be sewing right on the seam. So even if that came back, I mean, I can't imagine you would see that. It's in the seam. You've sewed right over it. But anyway, like I said, I've never had it come back, so I keep using them because it works for me. That's all. And if you don't like them, or you think that it's going to come back and it scares the bejesus out of you, then don't use it. It's as simple as that. You use whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, so I wanted to explain what I just did. When I finished the pumpkin squares, they were a little too small for me to square up and to the size that they wanted us to square them to. So I have sort of a ragged seam right here. I'm going to try to zoom right in on that. So if you are close enough, you can see that here my 1/4 inch line is touching the fabric. And then as you go along, it's coming away from the fabric and then going back to touch the fabric. And what I was doing was I just took another ruler and I set it down, and I'm trying to make sure that the line going this way is fairly straight when it's butted up against this other ruler. And so I know that this side is good, and if I scooch it down to the other side and I do the same thing where I butt it up against, and then I can see that this one is sort of going off that way, like the slightest bit. But I also know that I wasn't able to square up anywhere. So I'm happy with how straight that is. And that's why I knew that that's where I could mark my seam. Now, if you weren't marking your seams, I just want to point this out. If you weren't marking your seams, you wouldn't know that when you got over to the sewing machine. And so when you would put this down on top of the other fabric, you would see that there was, kind of not, if you pull it straight across, just laying it flat, not pull, I shouldn't have used that word. If you're laying it flat and smoothing it out against the other fabric that you're joining it to, you would see that gap, and then you wouldn't really know, like, am I in the right spot here? Am I in the right spot here? How do you know? And so that's another reason why I definitely make sure when I am piecing a quilt together like this, if I know that I have certain blocks that are not able to be squared up, which my pumpkin blocks were the ones that ended up being a little too small, then I could go ahead and use this method to make sure that it's getting fairly straight, and I know that, it's where I want it to be. So I just wanted to point that out, and now I'm going to continue to mark my seams. Okay, so I have these ready to be stitched together. I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, so let's go. Okay, so here I am at the sewing machine. I am ready to stitch together my top border, and then my bottom border is right up here waiting for me to be done with this one, so let's get going. Okay, so I have them all ready to be pressed. So let's head over to the ironing board. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to just give a quick press to these seams. Okay. And now I'm going to press them open. Okay, so I have my top and my bottom rows, and the next thing I'm going to want to do is take my big square, and I'm going to put the right border on and the left border on, and then we're going to combine the very top border to the main and then the bottom border. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Okay, so here's the layout for our, we have our two side borders, and I'm going to attach them. As you can see, they're not attached yet. I'm going to attach them to our center block. All I need to do right now is mark them up. So here we go. Okay, so here we have our pieces ready to be sewn together. So let's head over to the sewing machine. Okay, so here we go. Okay guys, so here I go. I've got both of my sides attached, and I'm going to go over and press my seams open. Okay, so here I am at the ironing board. I am going to press my seams closed first. Should probably plug my phone in so that it stays charged. Okay, so I have attached my sides, and now I'm going to attach my top border and the bottom border, and then we'll be all done, guys. Here we go. Okay guys, I came over here and I marked up the top row already and attached it to the middle piece, and so now I'm going to mark up the bottom piece and attach it to the middle piece, and then we will stitch everything up. So let's get this one marked up. Okay, so there might have been a couple of little pieces there where I was off camera. I apologize for that. I was trying to get it as much in the camera as I could while keeping it nice and flat. So I am going to go over to the sewing machine and we are going to finish this up. Okay guys, here I am at the sewing machine and I'm ready to go. Let's go. Okay guys, here it is. I'm gonna go and press it and throw it up on my design wall and show you guys my finished quilt top. I'm so excited and I can't wait to see yours. Okay guys, here is my finished product. I can't wait to see what you guys have done, and I hope you have enjoyed my sew along for the Fort Worth Fabric Studios Altogether Spooky Mystery Quilt. So anyway guys, I'm all done. Jelly Bean is happy that I'm done so that he can have more snacks. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer to Mr. JB. Hey Jelly Bean. Oops, sorry. Did I freak you out? Come on, I'll just get down here. I can look up at you. Hey, buddy. Hi. Did you have fun helping Mama sew? What you think about the quilt? Are you excited to cuddle in it? Yeah. You're wondering if it's going to take a year? I know. Okay, buddy. Are you going to have a big yawn or something that everybody can see? Jelly Bean. Hello, my sweetie pie. Okay, guys, I've had a great time. I hope you did too. And I'll see you in the next sew along, box opening, tutorial, something. I'll see ya. Bye. Thanks for sewing along with me.